What's up, y'all? Happy Saturday. It's your girl, D Green 2.0. Happy to be joining you today to discuss episode 2 of season 15 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, and notify your friends as well. Spread the word, okay? Spread the word. We're still trying to build a following. But yeah, figured I'd do this video a little earlier. I got a friend visiting from out of town and we got some stuff on the agenda. So I'm going to be busy this weekend. And then I got to work on my Potomac video for tomorrow, which I don't know, that season, man. We'll talk about that in the Potomac video. I just hope it gets better. But this episode, we actually got taglines. Taglines, which I was like, I thought they did taglines by episode 3 or 4, but apparently episode 2 it is for this season, which I'm not against it. I'm all for it. I have a few that I like, and I'll talk about that. We also got the introduction of Amanda. What y'all think about Amanda? I don't know. I'm like, I have potential to like her, but I don't know. She's coming on a little bit too the girl, or just strong to like present who she is. And she seems to be coming in as if she's already decided who she's gonna like be for. And my spidey senses are telling me, because we learned that she purchased Kyle's house in Beverly Hills. I'm sorry, Bel Air, not Beverly Hills. But my spidey senses are telling me that Amanda might be brought in to do Kyle's dirty work. Because Kyle, let's face it, Kyle does that. She will introduce someone to the cast, get close to them, plug some things into their ear so that they can move for her. That's part of the reason I feel her and Dorit fell out, because Dorit got tired of it. She got tired of it. Erica, to a degree, I feel like Erica still has that in her. But I think between her and Erica, there's a mutual respect, because there's always been like this, not shattered, but like penetrated alliance, but it can't be broken. Because I know when Erica was going through all of her stuff with Tom, and it's season 12 when she was very nasty, I know Kyle spoke up against her. And at that point, you never really heard Kyle speak up against Erica. But I think they were able to get through that because Erica saw where she was coming from and they were still cool. But yes, Kyle has a stronghold because she's an OG. Her name, let's face it, she does have a name and she's linked to a name. Her standing with the network. So it's easy for her. It's nothing for her to be able to recruit someone that's moving for her. I don't see it in Bose yet, but I hope it doesn't happen, because anybody is susceptible to influence, Bose included. But my heart tells me that my fellow air sign sister ain't going to go for that. So let's hope it stays that way. So yes, let's get to the taglines, right? All right, so I'm going to read them off in order of presentation in the opening credits. So we have Kyle. In this town, stars come and go, but diamonds last forever. We'll talk about these after I read them, because there were some that were meaningful to me. That was one of them, because it was a double entendre. I was like, oh, I saw what you did with that not Garcelle. I saw what you did with that, Kyle. Then we have Rachel Zoe. I'd die for fashion, but now I'm living for me. And then we have Bozema, my girl. I turn ambition into an art form, and I am the masterpiece. Fitting. Sutton. I might live on a main road, but I definitely bring main character energy. Amanda. I didn't marry into money. I manifested it. Erica. Survival isn't my story. It's my superpower. And then Dorit. I'm unfiltered, unbothered, and finally unburdened. Okay, so I usually try to narrow it down to 3, just, in the tradition of, the second runner-up, winner, all of that. I'm still going to keep that, but there are, let me see. there are 4 that I like. And I like them because of how clever they are, how they relate to the personal, like the person's story, the character's personal story. They're not characters, but you know what I mean. I like how it, with wit, translates like what they stand for in the season. And I feel like those taglines hit all of those points. So my first one that I liked, and be honest, survival isn't my story, it's my superpower, Miss Erica Jane. Now, we have all seen Erica's journey, and she's gone through a lot. Let's be honest, if we were faced with all of what she had to deal with, the $20 million of it all, the public scrutiny, the having to like basically fight for your life, we saw it. We could all relate to survival being a superpower. Now, the goal is to thrive, but in order for you to appreciate thriving, you do have to learn how to survive and then turn it into a superpower, so that even if you're thriving in situations, if you're met with something that could potentially set you back, boom, you can come up with a solution. That's the beauty behind learning how to survive, not living in it though. Because when you live in survival, it always has you in like a stage of fight and flight, and you can't really like bask in the moment. But her tagline, hands down, I was like, okay, Erica, I see it. I like this. I like this. Second one, Rachel. I'd have died for fashion, but now I'm living for me. Why I like hers is I get that too. So her story specifically, Rachel's 53, right? I think 54 now. But at this time of filming, 53. She was with her husband for 33 years when they separated. So I'm going to assume they separated around the time she was 52, 53. Which means she's been with this man since she was 19, 20. So her whole literally adult life, not that she was living for her husband, but she was essentially partnered with someone living life. So she, after leaving that situation, has now learned how to live for her. Because yes, her motivations, her goals, her dreams, her ambitions, they were all driven by her. But she wasn't achieving that and sharing that, alone. She's sharing it with someone. So she's always been tethered to someone and never really had to live for herself. So now she has to live for herself and her kids. But I was like, yeah, fashion has literally, and her relationship with her husband, that has been the core of who she is. And she, not that she was putting herself on, the deathbed to die for it or whatever, but because it was such a central part of her life, if she were to die, she would be dying in the name of fashion because it was such a big part of her life. And so you get the point. I liked Rachel's. Now, the third one, this one was a tough one. Kyle. I actually like Kyle's tagline. So in this town, stars come and go, but diamonds last forever. Okay, so couple of meanings in this one. The diamonds last forever is obvious. Kyle is the standing OG. She's been with this franchise since season 1. This is season 15. So in relation to her, she is a diamond that has lasted forever in the lifespan of this show, right? And on this show, there have been stars that have come and go. Let me think. Her sister, you can consider a child star. She left season 5. Eileen and Lisa Rinna came in. They left. Eileen, I think, left season 7 or 8. And then Lisa left season 12, or after season 12. And then the timing of this couldn't be even better because Garcelle was a star that recently left season 14. And so I thought that was clever because it's like, I'm throwing shade, I'm unshakable. No matter what I deal with, I'm still going to be here type of thing. So I was like, okay, I see you, Kyle. And then my fourth, my runner up to the mall was Bozma's. I like the I turn ambition into an art form. Why do I keep tripping over that? And I am the masterpiece. Yeah, I like it because it's basically saying that Bozema is an ambitious person and she has modeled what her ambition looks like, and it's an art form because she's pivoted. She's, she's tried everything. She's been in corporate America, she's a business owner, she became an author. Now she's a reality television star. Now she's doing that thing with Jimmy Fallon. So yeah, and it is an art form. It looks good. She makes it look like it's effortless. I'm sure it's not effortless, but yeah. So those are my four. What do y'all think? What's your favorite tagline? Let me know in the comments, okay? All right, so now let's get into the episode. So opening scene, we have a montage. Rachel's rental home. I was like, oh, she doesn't own that? But if she lives in New York, she's probably got a home in the Hamptons and maybe an apartment in the city. Then if she's just filming for Beverly Hills, maybe she's renting. I don't know. Maybe that was the house her and her husband shared together. I don't know. But I thought that was strange that they put rental home. So she's in the kitchen with her son. Sorry, I barely got any sleep last night. It was a long night last night, so pardon me. I still got my Starbucks. But she's in the kitchen with her son discussing what he needs for his camp essentials because he's about to get ready to go to sleepaway camp. And then my girl rolls in, Bozema, for them to talk. Rachel says in her confessional she loves Bozema's positivity and her fearlessness. And I too, because I've already told you guys I'm a Bozema stan. I do appreciate that about Bozema, especially being a Black woman. I like to see that representation of putting yourself out there, being bubbly, being fearless, and just being unapologetically colorful in your personality. But you stand on business, but you put yourself out there because I feel like we're not a monolith, right? But there's like sometimes these projected stereotypes onto Black women, and that's just not what it is. And Bozema represents something that's different. So I can relate to her because I'm the same way. Fearless in most cases, definitely positive. I have no choice. I've been through enough negativity to not bask in the negativity. So happiness and positivity is a choice. And, Bozema intentionally chooses to move that way. So read her book so you can learn more about it. But anyway, so Rachel's saying how she wishes she could be like Bozema in the fearlessness and just being honest because Rachel cares too much about people's feelings. I was like, I don't know if I agree with that because you're pretty bold. You are soft in your delivery, but don't downplay yourself, Rachel. Like you savage, and I like it. So, you're probably meticulous about who you apply that attitude towards, but you ain't no wallflower, girl. So she was talking about how Rachel in this scene, how the separation basically like opened her eyes up to how fragile she was and how much of a codependent relationship she was in with her husband. But then towards the end, it got so toxic to where she felt like she was walking on eggshells. And it was like simple things like asking him to put her bag in the overhead that irritated him. And yeah, by that time, if someone's getting tired of you with just your day-to-day stuff, like your simple mannerisms, yeah, it's time to end the relationship. That's sad. I wish certain people had the loyalty to withstand. It's like you've put all this time in already. Why would you leave? But I guess Roger probably hit a midlife crisis and wanted something different. All right, so they were talking. I guess Bozema asked her about how they felt about the PK situation with the photos. And Rachel was saying how she can relate. And I mentioned this in my recap last week. She just wishes that, Roger was more careful because he's got children. They have business partners involved. They have, consumers that see their image and follow it. It's just things that you have to be concerned about other than yourself when you've got so much, not necessary to lose, because I guess you could lose some things if you're having an affair, because people that do business with you, they're going to question your character. But yeah, you have more at stake. Your children, their well-being, how they see you. So yeah, you should be mindful about how you show up out here in your new situation. And you should know that you do come with some celebrity. So you do need to pay attention to who could be watching you and who could not be watching you. And I was glad that she said that because I was thinking that same thing about PK and Mauricio. Mauricio, he's just having fun. Not that it justifies his actions, but his children are a little older. Like Portia, yeah, she's underage, but she's not 14 and 11 like Rachel's kids, and she's not 9 and 11 like Dorit's kids. And so, and then, Kyle was doing her thing. So it's both parents in this case were doing some things. So to hold Mauricio accountable, we would also have to hold Kyle accountable. But I think Kyle and Mauricio do a really good job at making sure their children are okay and co-parenting. Because I do, even though they're separated, I do like their relationship and how they manage it. I saw this tonight in this episode and I was like, I like it. You could tell they're friends. But back to Rachel and both of us. So yeah, so Rachel was saying how, she wished Roger would have had a little bit more discretion and cared. And I couldn't agree more. It's like the more mature you become, I get it. You've been in a place for so long and you're unhappy and you're just ready to break free with your happiness. I get it. I've been there. But you do have to be mindful about who else your moves are going to affect when you make them. So anyway, so then they start talking about Kyle because Kyle says she wasn't dating at the party. And then Bosema's like, she's not dating because it was revealed later. We all know she was obviously in a relationship with Morgan that she never spoke out about. So when she's saying she's not dating, everybody's confused. Even Rachel was confused. And she put her glasses on to kind of just say, hey, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it, but I see you. I see what you're saying. And then Bosema says in her confessional, like, Kyle is dodging questions like the Matrix. Like, she's not that she owes anybody an explanation, but if you're asked these questions, don't dodge them. And I found it to be interesting that Bosema is now taking the role that Garcelle had and was persecuted for. And so I really don't understand. I think maybe Bosema is just, I won't say being used, but I guess they're going to utilize her skill set to broach the topic with Kyle on her relationship with Morgan and her sexuality. And yeah, I hope that works out well for Kyle and Bose because, Bose is my girl, but I was like, girl, don't fall for it. And hopefully you know what you're doing by doing this because they do this all the time. They gonna turn on you. All right, so anywho. So now we get to Kyle, a scene with Kyle. She's heading over to Mauricio's house, his rental house. And then she's bringing towels because Portia told her she only had 8 towels. And Mauricio's like, well, I only need 1 towel for me. Such a man. It's like, no, you need face towel. You need feet towel. You need naughty bits towels. You need all types of towels. Should you even need towels for your hair? So anyway, so they're talking and she tells him that those towels are for their daughters and not his skanky girls that be over there. But when they said it in jest. Like there, you can see there's a friendship there. And I thought that was mature and I like their dynamic, post whatever they're doing. So she says that originally when they agreed to separate, it was supposed to only be for 6 months. Mauricio had a 6-month lease at a high rise and then decided to get another place and extend that. So, that signaled to her that maybe Mauricio doesn't want to work it out because I guess that's what was going to happen after the six-month lease is that they were going to try to, basically talk about reconciling. And I guess Mauricio was having so much fun. He's like, I'll get back to you on that. Let me get this next place and I need some more exploring I gotta do. Man, grown life is complicated. It is. It's just, I hope I prepare my daughter well so that she can deal with stuff and navigate and be well adjusted in her navigation of her day-to-day struggles. But anyway, so they're talking about them dating. Kyle jokingly tells Mauricio he's in his whole stage and the girls call it that. And he's like, no. And then he's like, why don't you date? And, saying it without saying it. I think he's also trying to acknowledge the relationship she had with Morgan. And I put here Kyle still loves him and Kyle wants to be discreet about what they're doing because honestly, I don't know. I mean, Kyle, season 13, I didn't watch it, but you kind of negated that. Now, I don't know, because I know there was a lot of talk on her being upset with Mauricio, but then parading with Morgan. I don't get that. But I'm a woman, and I understand how we move sometimes. And I think Kyle was into Morgan, but I think she was also doing that to get to Mauricio a little bit, nudge him, like see if he would fight for her. And then it ended up not working out the way that she thought. So now she's left picking up the pieces, behind this relationship. And then she's losing her husband of, I think they were married for what, like 26 years. So that's a lot of emotional transition Kyle has had to deal with over the last 3 years. So I don't blame her for not drinking because it's allowed for her to see things clearly and really process her emotions in real time without them being suppressed by any substance or anything. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So then they start talking about Dorit and PK's situation. Kyle is trying to speak on behalf of Dorit on how he feels and that she's not okay. Mauricio says, PK is okay. And, he's doing his thing. He's not trying to be intentionally malicious, but he mentioned something there. I was like, I want to see if they're going to explore that later because I want to know what he meant by that. He said that Dorit is probably mad because she's not accepting the reality of the situation. So that could go either way. Maybe she's mad because she doesn't accept that they're done. Or maybe the only difference is now that they've publicly declared that they're separated, but maybe PK has always been doing this. And Dorit, as long as she was his wife and they were together, didn't make it a big issue. So I don't know. I was like, what do you mean by that, Mo? Because, the boys be knowing. The boys be knowing. So I'm going to keep that in my head and try to look for clues that tell me a little bit more about what Mauricio meant by that throughout this season. All right, so now we get Erica and Sutton going to have a spa day. I love a spa day. Erica says that her and Sutton have had a rough couple of years, and they have. I mean, you look at some of those fights between the two of them. And she's extending an olive branch by hanging out with her and taking her on a spa day. So they're talking. And then Sutton says that she wants to be open-minded because she also agrees they've had a rough couple of years. They bring up Tom. I think Sutton asks Erica how she feels and if she over Tom. And then Erica says, I'm not over that. I'll never get over that. And I was watching when she was saying it. Erica was so stoic. They call her the Ice Queen for a reason. In that she shows her emotion, but it really has to push her. Because I could tell she was trying to keep it together in this scene. And she's probably gone through so many emotions with this scene. I mean, not this scene, but with this situation that crying is, she's desensitized to it. It's like, I'm not going to cry. But I was watching, and when she was saying how she's not over it, it's going to be hard for her to get over it. She'll never get over it. That's a big amount of time to spend with someone, and for the rug to be pulled from up under you so abruptly and in that scandalous manner. Oh, that would fuck anybody up. It'll have you second guessing life on all fronts. So as much as some of us, and I was a part of that group, villainized Erica for how she was behaving, we also have to look at, from a humanistic perspective, the toll that may have taken on her. Just because she comes from what we perceive as privilege doesn't mean that it didn't break her down to have to go through that with Tom. And then also mourn Tom because, again, younger woman, older man. But it doesn't mean she didn't love him to some degree. I mean, he was a secure factor in her life. He was there for her and her son. They were married. So as much as we would like to say, oh, girl, fuck him. And no, it's not that easy. And then for him to end up the way that he did, going to prison, that's like you build your life with someone. And it's not like, I mean, he did some scandalous stuff. If he had been doing stuff that violated children or anything, oh yeah, write him off. But these, like the fraud, it's like gray area. Again, it doesn't forgive it. But, it's not like he did something to where she could just write him off and not think twice about it. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to downplay the victim's experience, but the level, it's not gonna, the level of how he violated the victims will not remove the love that Erica has for Tom. So again, another tough spot. These women are dealing with some real shit. Real shit. So, Erica says that she's, 5 years later, still fighting this, and she's going to continue to fight it. She's being hit with, lawsuits up the wazoo in relation to this. They're flashing media clippings discussing the lawsuits. And she's just laying there, like I said, stoic. Like, this is my life. And so I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't. It's a heavy, heavy pill, heavy burden to carry. All right, so we get this next scene with Dorit and her parents. So her parents came out to visit. I guess they were going to pick the kids up to take them back to Florida. This is another thing. Oh. When I tell you this right here, Dorit situation, I totally get her. So Dorit has now had to transition into the nurturer and the provider. Now, yes, PK was in and out, but he was a part of the plan and a part of the day-to-day processes. Now she's left with the burden of having to maintain all of that, right? Then she's dealing with someone who is vindictive and spiteful. And now she's seeing how this affects her kids. That is a lot. Because she says something to the effect of, I have to basically, I'm falling apart, but I got to keep it together for these two little ones. And now she's seeing that, in the moments where she doesn't keep it together, because you do crack. I've gone through that. When I tell you, like, you try so hard, and I actually got emotional when I was listening to her because I could relate. You try so hard to protect your kids from the trauma that we can't control. It's going to be inflicted on them, right? And you try so hard to do your best to shield them. But we can't. We can be trying our best. We're not our kids. And it affects our kids, She said her son's acting out. I remember my daughter, when she first lost her dad, she was doing some weird shit. She broke a window. She was 7 years old. She, recently when she had to go through a separation from me, my ex, she started acting out in school. So like when she was talking about that, and then she said it was nice to have her parents there. I'm sorry, y'all. Like I said, I get emotional over that. Because that's real stuff. It's real. So, she was talking about how, because she's in a city by herself too. She has no family. Same thing. I'm here in Atlanta. I have no family. And when you're going through that trauma, you don't have family close. It's nice to have them, and they can take the kids so that you can just let it out, like fall apart in private so that you can pick yourself up and then get back in the game. I had to do that this summer. My daughter, she went with my family for the summer, and I thought I was going to have a hot girl summer like what they're saying. Y'all, I crashed. I took 3 weeks off from work and I cried a lot of the nights. I drank my wine, smoked my hookah, worked on my investment property, and just processed everything that had happened over the last 2 years. So I totally support Dorit in this transition she's dealing with. Because it's yeah, they're on TV and it looks glamorous, but man, that motherhood journey and like navigating through tragedy with your kids, and it's a lot. So then she was saying how her, I'm gonna keep this in because I don't edit my videos, y'all know that, but man. Okay, so her parents are there to take the children to spend the summer in Florida so that Dorit can get a break and just, recalibrate everything mentally. She says that PK left her with all the bills. left her with no money, and she's got to figure out what to do. And he seems to not want to help. He thinks he's helping, but he seems to not want to help. And she talks about how her son has changed. She sees the broken boy coming out of him, and she feels helpless. So, uh, that's what she said. So she worded it: drastic change, yes, during your fight or flight while having to adjust. Let that sink in for a minute. Anyway, so next scene, registry, where we have Kyle and her daughter Alexia going to a place that she said is a tradition. So her and her sisters have gone there, like her family members have gone there. So rite of passage in their family to go to this specific place for wedding registry things. So they show up. She says that her family is so bad at organizing. They literally have only secured the rabbi, and the wedding is less than 2 months away. I said, holy shit. And I'm not sure where the wedding was, but I was like, girl, that wedding gonna have to be in your backyard then, shit, if it's 2 months away. Because what venue are you gonna secure in 2 months? In Beverly Hills during the summer? No fucking way. So she says because her family is bad at planning, she invited Sutton because Sutton can help her with like picking things out, all that good stuff. She invited the new girl, Amanda. So this is her way to come into the group to shop. Amanda, we learned, purchased Kyle's Bel Air home. And how she learned about Amanda is there was, I guess, a Instagram reel of her husband or fiance tearing those beautiful black and white floors that we liked in that place, like ripping them down. And the caption says, when you close on a house and you learn that your wife is pregnant or whatever. And so the fans took wind to that and got offended. And I guess they tagged Kyle. So Kyle looked at it and was like, oh. I was like, okay. So that's how Kyle and Amanda know each other, is through that real estate thing. And Amanda's also getting married. So she's engaged to her, I gotta learn more about that. So apparently there's 2 kids that are not Amanda and her boyfriend. I don't know if they're from his previous relationship, or they have to be. They have to be, because how else did the kids get there? That makes no sense, sorry. And then she's got 2 kids with him. So she says that they're getting married 10/10/26. So this is filmed in June. They're like, oh, you got plenty of time to plan. And then they ask her how she met him. And she says, I met him on the street. You know, he saw me walking and he said he had manifested, you know, that he was going to meet his wife that night. And he saw me on the street and chased me down. It happens like that. Like sometimes so random. But I do agree the guy has to be the one that sees that for you. We are not supposed to be seeking our spouse. We are not supposed to be planning it, manifesting it, any of that. The guy is supposed to want you. So, and then that's how they show how they love you. They're hunters by nature. Sorry, y'all. They're hunters by nature. So if they don't feel like they had to do anything to get you, they're not going to care to keep you. So let that be a lesson. All right. So she says that she learned how to manage money, blah, blah, blah. I didn't really pay much attention to what she was saying, because she started kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Jury's still out on Amanda for me. Like, cute lady, but I don't know. All right, so then we have this scene with Lael and Bozema. Y'all know that's my boo. So Bozema calls Lael in so that she can do her hair. And they're talking about dating and everything. Bozema tries to probe. She asked Lael if she had a crush on somebody, if she liked anybody. And Lael was like, I did like this boy that was in juvie. And Bozema's like, what? Oh, no. Let me pray over you. Just like we all go through that stage where we like our bad boys. She gon' deal with it, Bozema. So then Bozema starts asking Lael how she feels about Keely, and you know, she's happy with their relationship. Lael is happy with their relationship. She talks about how they kind of become like a family. They travel together. Bo's is saying this in confessional. So, it feels right. But if Lael told her that she didn't like Keely, Bozema wouldn't be happy because she couldn't move forward with, him. And I understand that. So then she says, as far as Keely proposing, there we go. So Lael says that she would want Keely to ask her, and then Bozema cracks up. She's like you're my father, ask you? And Lael's like, yeah. And I'm with that. The kid, if you're gonna ensure that you're gonna have a happy marriage, if you're marrying a woman that has a child, you do have to have sign off from the child too, because you're gonna be a part of their life just as much as you're a part of their life, and it's not just as much. You're a part of their life. You're becoming an extended parent, unless the kids are like grown or whatever. You can kind of work around that, but when they're little, under 18, you are a part of their life, so the kid has to like you. And then Bozema tells her, okay, just make sure, if he's gonna propose, that my nails are done. Like, I need a fresh set, like day or two before at the most. And so I thought that was cute, and I put there, they are so cute. All right, so earlier in the scene, I think it was Sutton was telling Erica that Jennifer Tilly wants to have a boho chic draw and paint party or something at her house. So we're now at the day of the party. So they're all getting ready for her party, Jennifer Tilly's party, and they get to Jennifer setting up for her party. And while I like Jennifer's quirky energy, I love a quirky girl because I'm quirky. I love a girl that's got, against the grain personality and character traits about her. She's not acting like everyone else. She's a little eccentric. I like that. However, and she has the money that qualifies her, but as far as her presence on the show, I was like, I don't know if I like her for the show. She just wasn't giving me Housewives energy for the show, so. But I was glad that they let her plan a party, because I got a chance to like kind of get in the mind of her and see how she works. And I was like, see, is this really you? Like, do you do things like this? Because you play poker, like you travel, like, but anyway. So Rachel shows up after Erica. Erica shows up first. She didn't really look boho chic to me. She looked like she was going somewhere urban because she had on a denim outfit. Rachel comes in after. She's got a leather jacket over a white dress. I'm not sure if it had a tutu, but it was kind of giving me edgy Carrie Bradshaw. And then, let me see, Amanda and the stepchildren. Oh, okay. So then all the girls arrive, they're all sitting down and they're all talking. And so, of course, with Amanda being the new girl, they start asking her questions about her life. And she says, she shares about the children she has, that she has 2 children that are her husband or boyfriends, and then she's got 2 with him. And then they're like, your stepchildren? And then she corrects them, no, the children I'm raising. So she doesn't say the whole step thing. I don't know if she says bonus mom, but she doesn't want the kids to look at her as step or whatever. Bozema says in the confessional, I don't know. I'm a mama bear. I don't know if I can have another woman, my kids calling them mom. And I was like, Bozema, stop. Stop, girl. I mean, I see it, but if that's what the child feels comfortable doing, that's the thing. You have to allow for them to have their own kind of relationship with that step parent, and then that step parent vice versa, still within respectable boundaries of how you want to parent your child, but you cannot control how they speak to each other or how they identify with each other. If she wants to call that stepmother mom because she wants her to feel like I love you just like I love my mom, let them have it. But both of them, she's so funny. And then so it gets to the part where Jennifer Tilly now has to announce to them what their activity is after they've all, gotten their drinks and settled in. She awkwardly, though, I was watching how she's introducing it. That's why I said she didn't feel, I don't know if she felt nervous about the camera or whatever, but she's awkwardly introducing what's going to happen. It's going to be a nude drawing party. They don't realize at this point, though, that these are some nude models. So the men come in. They have on towels. I think at this point they get the idea. The men drop the towels. The women are all looking. And I was trying to see, like, are they looking with, like, you know, are they impressed? Like, what do they see in these men? Like, what's going on? And then there was this one dude, right? Doree had me dying in the confessional. So there was this one dude. I could tell he was, you know, animated. I'll just say that. He's like posing like this the whole time. Like this. Like poking his ass out. Like this. And then Doree says in the confessional, she's posing just like I did. She's like, I don't know if I could pose like that for so long. Oh my God, it hurts. Because they asked him if he was hurting. And he on camera, he taking his opportunity to get his 15 minutes. He like, no, I ain't in pain. And so Doree, when she demonstrated it, she's like, there's no way I can do that for, like, you know, a significant amount of time without it hurting. So that was funny. But I was like, that's an interesting pose. You want him to draw your ass? So they're all drawing. I made a comment here or a note here. All of their like commentary in the background was so funny. Because Kyle said at one point, she's like, you know, I had considered taking mushrooms before. Maybe I should have taken them for this. Kyle can be funny. I'll give her that. She has her moments where she cracks you up. Like, I forget sometimes how funny Kyle can be because she gets on my fucking nerves sometimes. But I'll give it to her. Like, Kyle can be hilarious. She's a kiki. So then Rachel ends up winning the drawing contest. She had more definition in her drawing. But then Jennifer's like, none of these people are going to be the next Monet. They can't draw, you know. So then they come up on that topic again about dating. Because this is an opportunity for them to ask, basically, Kyle, who she's dating. And so they asked Dorit too if she's dating. And then Dorit says, what did she say? She said, my ex-husband is making my life a living hell or something like that. So basically, dating is the last thing on her mind because she's got battles and fires to put out all the time dealing with PK. And so they talk about how that trip that the kids were supposed to take with their grandparents to Florida, PK now all of a sudden wants to block that. Now I was thinking, I'm like, if you're not with them all the time, why would you want to block that? Why don't you want them to have a summer with their grandparents? It's not like you're taking them. So then the ladies are like giving her ideas because I guess PK suggested that I go with them or they stay with me in Florida and then they can visit with their grandparents. So Dorit, because she knows PK. These women think they may know, but they don't know. They don't know PK. And so she's telling them, you don't know who I'm dealing with. This was like basically a power play and he's just trying to, you know, flex his muscle and be an asshole because he knows he can because he's their father and they don't have like a custody situation established. And then the ladies are telling her to call his bluff. If he says this is what he wants to do, let him do it. Let him, you know, go. And Rachel was serious. She's like, look, if this is what he says he's going to do, even though he's probably going to only spend one night with them before he flies off to, I think she said Saint-Tropez or something. And Kyle basically said the same thing, essentially, about allowing PK to meet them halfway, right? Follow me. So I support Dorit, and yet Kyle irritates me, but I gotta be fair. I don't like how, and there's gotta be reasons to it. There has to be. But it seems that Dorit does not give Kyle any leeway to speak up on PK's behalf by any means. And when I saw this scene, I have been on the side of history when it comes to PK and Dorit, that Kyle should side with Dorit because they're in similar situations. But Kyle and Dorit are two different women, okay? And they handle their breakups differently. We see this. Kyle handles one way with Mauricio. Dorit handles one way with PK. Now, I don't know the male's zodiac signs, but Dorit's a Cancer and Kyle is a Capricorn. So Dorit is definitely going to be a lot more emotional about it than Kyle. So she's not going to be as grounded or, easy to navigate through it. Plus the history of the couples themselves. Let's just be honest. I could tell there was more love and devotion and partnership with Kyle and Mauricio versus with PK and Dorit. So the nature of the breakup is going to have a different look on it when you factor in all of those aspects that go into the couples. So with that being said, I get Dorit being emotional with Kyle and expecting Kyle to stand on her side because she does know PK. She sees PK. Well, Dorit thinks that she sees PK and should understand Dorit's sentiment, but no. In Kyle's defense, because she does know PK, unlike the other ladies, they've spent time together. Kyle's not going to necessarily always agree with you on everything. And that's a friend that you do want to have when you're going through transitions. Like my best friend, Patricia, shout out to you, Patricia. I call her my sage because while I'm together, I'm whimsical. I'm a Gemini. I could be freaking self-destructive and unstable, especially when I start spiraling on things that really get to me. And she is that one friend that will reel me in and tell me, girl, you're crashing. You're spiraling. Get it together. I want this. I want this. And you do need that. You got to appreciate that. You can't be too sensitive to write them off when they give their input. Same with fucking Angel and Kiarna, that one episode where Kiarna got mad at Angel for asking her if she asked about Wendy's kids. It's like, you got to be okay with having friends that hold you accountable. So going back to the scene, when Kyle is basically saying the same thing as the ladies, why was Dorit giving Kyle so much smoke? Like it just... I'll give Dorit grace because I understand the emotions behind it. I get it. And then the relationship her and Kyle have outside of all of this, like I was saying earlier, Kyle can puppeteer her friends. So there could be a little bit of rebelliousness in that too, where Dorit is like, no, fucking see me as a person, because she probably feels like, you haven't seen me. You saw me as a ploy to work with you on this show. So were we really friends? It is so, man, when I tell you the intricacies of like human connection and the human condition, especially when life hits the fan, you see people for who they are and how they show up. And the reason making Kyle look very rational and practical sometimes. So I hope they work it out, because at the end of the day, regardless of the nuances, they are two women who are facing similar situations right now. And it would just like the guys are bonding, it would be nice to see them bonding together. And I think Erica said that season 14. Here these dudes are off partying and y'all fighting. Y'all should be coming together and supporting each other. But all right, so yeah, I said that. I think this was Kyle was saying. Yeah, because I was like, Dorit, calm down. So this last scene, Kyle came out but didn't come out, y'all. Y'all catch it? Did y'all catch it? All right, so we got Erica. She's going to Kyle's house. And they're talking and, they're, shooting the breeze, sitting on Kyle's patio or whatever. I guess Erica brought some drink. This was a side note, but the meat and potatoes of this scene, I didn't really care about the drink. But she was like, yeah, I ordered them now because of you. So they're talking about the party. And Kyle mentioned how she's tired of everybody asking her about her dating situation, right? And then Kyle says After Mauricio and I split, I was in a relationship with someone that I cared about a lot. And the thing is while I have over the years, Kyle was acknowledging this because she's probably seen and heard what the fans say. Kyle's always been the one, be honest, put it on the table, just be honest. And then now she's got this and she's not being honest about it. You know, this is why I'm glad when people explain themselves. And it's not that anybody owes anyone an explanation, but if you are responsible about how people perceive you and how you relay your truth, you do have to be accountable for setting the record straight if things are put out there. You have said in the past, put it out there, be honest. You have this and we know what's going on. And she did try to soft launch it season 13, but I think Morgan got so much backlash that Kyle retreated. And out of respect for Morgan, Kyle honored what Morgan wanted. And it was, don't mention me on the show, don't talk about us on the show. And so it also kind of what I said about Giselle with her relationships on Potomac. It's like, this is a reality show. You want to safeguard things that are important to you. So when Kyle explained, she said, I get it. People want me to be honest, but it's not just me involved in this. I have to respect what Morgan wants. And honestly, y'all, that was it for me. That was it for me. If anybody ever really asks her again this season about Morgan, I wouldn't be mad at Kyle for fucking going off, because it's like, what more do you want? Okay, this is me putting it out on camera. I'm talking about it. I want to acknowledge what the audience members see. I don't want to gaslight anybody. You guys saw that I was in a relationship. It was obvious. Okay, this is that. But you have to understand, it's not me that doesn't want to share this. I have to respect what she wants, because then she's met with backlash too. And y'all know how toxic the Bravo fans can be. Y'all know it. I see it. I have my days when I'm fucking fickle. So I don't blame Kyle. I don't. And especially with it being such a major change in how she's moved in relationships. Like, she went from being married to a man and then she jumps into a relationship with a woman. And it's intense. She's probably happy. But, you know, you want to respect that and keep the peace in that relationship. So... Let me see, saying it without... Okay, yes, I said saying it without saying it. Yeah, she basically came out. And then I mentioned season 13. I get it. Kyle was probably trying to soft launch her. It didn't work out. You know, she said, okay, we won't talk about you. And then Erica said this in the confessional. I wrote it down. Imagine being in love with someone for 30 years. You fall in love with somebody else after that relationship ends. You want to celebrate it, but you can't talk about it. And the women are always going to question this. And they're still going to question this to this day. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do you do? And exactly what do you do? Kyle's doing her best. She really brought me over to understand her plight. I get it, because as I grow older and more mature, you know, like I've said, things are more important to you. You want to safeguard those things, you know, so, and Morgan's not a part of that. She doesn't deserve to go through the backlash and scrutiny that comes with being on that show. So, and then that was the episode, y'all. That was the episode. Kyle came out. We got taglines. You know, we got to understand what Dorit's dealing with a little bit more. You know, Bowles and Keely, it's leading up to that engagement. You know, it was a decent episode. I'd give it like an 8. Because it was filler, but it was like meaningful filler in this episode. So I won't downplay it. I've heard people say that this season is boring. I think these are Garcelle Stanatics, yes. I think those are the ones that are saying that this season is not good, because I like this season. Beverly Hills has always been the show that doesn't come out the gate all the time with the drama. It's like a slow burn. So we got to give them the time to do what they do best, because Beverly Hills always delivers, regardless if it's a slow burn. I'm trying to think of a season that was boring that didn't do much for me. I would probably say season 8. Because I was kind of in and out of that. I didn't care much about season 8. That was when Teddy came in. Really wasn't much going on. Dorit had a couple of blow-ups because that was her second season. Yeah, season 8 wasn't really big, but all the other seasons, they've been slow burns, and we get some major shit. Want me to go down the list? All right, here we go. Season 1, we met the women. Slow burn. That infamous dinner with Alison Dubois. Genius. It's one of the top 10 dinners from hell on Housewives in Housewives history. And then we get Kim's situation. At the end, we learn that she's dealing with substance abuse issues. Then season 2, slow burn. We didn't know what the hell was. Oh, and not to mention into season 1 too, Camille getting divorced from Chelsea. Major stuff. Season 2, picking up where Camille left off with her divorce from Chelsea. You know, picking up the pieces. We get introduced to Brandy. And then, you know, Taylor dealing with her stuff. We find out Taylor was being abused and we didn't know it. And then Taylor's late husband, may he rest in peace, took himself out of here. Season 3, slow burn. But then at the end, you get the blow up between Lisa Vanderpump and Adrienne Maloof. And then Maloof, her and her husband Paul, they get divorced. And then she leaves. She leaves the series. And then Yolanda got introduced. Season 4, slow burn. But then you get the fallout of LVP and Brandy. And then the seed starts getting planted for us to see Lisa Vanderpump as a sniper from the side. Someone that's kind of pulling the strings from the back. So then you get a narrative shift on one of our favorites, season 4. Season 5, same thing, slow burn. Then we get that Amsterdam trip where fucking Lisa Rinna went off and freaking threw that glass at Kim Richards. Then you had the situation with Kyle and Brandy. You know, they got into a fight. That's what I'm saying. Beverly Hills always delivers. That's why I'm going down this list with you guys. Season 6, slow burn. You get Erica introduced, and then Catherine Edwards. Oh, and Brandy left season 5 too, and then Kim too. But then season 6, you what was the major thing? Oh, Munchausen's. So we learned that Lisa wanted to push that story through, and then we further get proof that she does kind of puppeteer from the back. To us fans, that was, you know, that was a revelation. It was. Season 7, we get Eden Sassoon, slow burn. Dorit comes in, but then, you know, you get that stuff that hits with Lisa and Dorit. You know, Lisa accused Dorit of being a head, you know. What else happened at the end? Oh, Lisa Rinna and Kyle almost falling out because Lisa was talking about Kim and her addiction issues. So there's always something. And then, like I said, season 8 wasn't really much. I know it was during that season where the fires happened because I was living in California at that time. Camille had lost her house in the fire, and I think she got married. So that's probably one of the only major things that happened season 8, but not much. Season 9, slow burn. But then, you know, the infamous exit of LVP and how that all happened because of Doggy Gate. Okay. Season 10, Garcelle came on the scene. That was COVID season. It was crazy. It was crazy. I think Sutton was there too as a friend of. Teddy was pregnant. You know, but exciting season. They go to, was it Italy they went to that season? And then we found out about, I think it was Brandy and Denise. Yes, they ganged up on Denise that year and she left. Season 11, slow burn. Then we got hit with the Tom Girardi scandal of it all, and that took over. Season 12, continuation of the Tom Girardi scandal. Then we get Diana Jenkins with her ass. She comes in. That was a toxic season. That was actually when I stopped watching, because then they ganged up on Kathy at the end. I know there's more to it. Lisa was acting real unhinged. She lost her mother that year. There was a lot going on in season 12. Dorit was still recovering from her robbery because she got robbed in between seasons 11 and 12. Then season 13, I didn't really watch. So So I can't really say if it was a sleeper season, but from what I heard, not much was going on. And then last year, season 14, slow burn, but then all the, drama and dynamics tied into PK and Dorit getting divorced. So I say all of that just to say, don't sleep on our Beverly Hills girls. Don't say this is a boring season because Garcelle is not there. Give it time. Our girls will come through, okay? And on that note, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to get to my day. I got to start preparing to run some errands and hang. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this recap. I'll talk to you next week about episode 3. Peace and blessings to you all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. And I love you. I love you. All right, take care. Bye.